My new course is it's coming up 25th of March. It's called Finish the Track in 8 Weeks. And I'll bring participants through a process where they'll start from scratch and finish the track in 8 weeks. And why 8 weeks? Is it like, for some people that'd be like, oh, that's a really long time to finish the track. Fair enough. If that's a really long time for you to finish the track, this course is not for you. This course is for people who struggle to finish a track that they're happy with. You know, if you're struggling to finish a track for, you know, months and months and months, then 8 weeks is a short time. If you've never finished a track before, there's lots of things that you need to learn and do. So 8 weeks is a good amount of time for that. It's supposed to be a track that you're happy with, but that takes time. You know, I have had tracks that took multiple years to finish. Yeah, I had to keep coming back to them, improving them. So, you know, I think 8 weeks is a good short amount of time to finish a track, actually. Although I have finished tracks in a shorter amount of time, that's rare, and mostly it does take a few months at least. So that is the course. There are 9 places left. You can get one. I'll put a link in the description. You can get on the waiting list. The places open up this Friday. So that's that. Hello, it's me, ZOiD, back to talk to you about some things that are on my mind and maybe they'll be interesting to you. Namely, why the hell make music these days? There's a lot of forces competing mentally in your mind space to like make you question the validity, maybe. I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully you are just thinking it's something you do, you won't ever stop doing it because you love it, you enjoy it. That is what keeps you doing it. You got intrinsic motivation. The extrinsic, if you do something, if the cause of you doing a thing is extrinsic motivation, you're looking for someone else to give you praise, someone else to do something for you that makes you feel good, release your music on their label or give you this or give you that, you know, you can easily get frustrated and stop doing it because it doesn't happen. You know, how long are you going to really do something without the extrinsic motivation coming? Okay, so, you know, looking for anything outside yourself, it's not a great motivation. Intrinsic motivation, you enjoy it, you do it because you love it, those things you keep going, you keep doing it for your whole life. That's how I feel about making music. I would never stop doing it because I would miss it too much. I would feel physically, mentally not great if I'm not creating music. Maybe if I couldn't make music, I'd start writing or something else, but I have to do some type of creative activity to feel good. That's my personality. Creativity is where I'm coming alive, and creating is important for me. So if music is something that you do because you're intrinsically motivated and you love doing it and you're committed to doing it, and it's a lifelong commitment that you have to do it and keep making it, then what? Are you okay just doing it on your own all the time and no one ever hears it? Or, you know, aside from making it, is there some other, like, yeah, I'd like to release it, I'd like other people to hear it, you know, I don't have big ambitions, but it's nice if you do something good and then you can share it with others. Where do you share it? How do you share it? You know, even like MySpace in the 2000s was great for the music community aspect of it. Was great. People were, you know, mingling, listening to each other, supporting each other. I met so many producers on there, including getting a friend request from Brian Tregaskin, aka the Tuss, who was surely Richard D. James messing around, you know, just like putting up a profile. There's all these different Tregaskins. They're all the Reflex crew on MySpace. You know, Brian Tregaskin and Karen Tregaskin and all these other ones. And like Brian Tregaskin had like these little 30-second clips. 30 seconds was all you could put on your MySpace profile. You could put a few 30-second MP3s on there. Brian Tregaskin put some of his Tuss tracks. And I remember getting a friend request and going, who's this? And it was like, you know, it was before the Tuss releases came out. So no one knew who the Tuss was. And by the quality of the music of the 30-second clips, everyone, you know, not everyone, but like there were many, many comments. The profile was growing very quickly. People were like raving, what the, you know, who, what, this is incredible music. Like, you know, the Tuss tracks, Brush Up Edge and Confederation Trough, those tracks, clips of those tracks, you know, it's obvious in hindsight. You know, everything's always obvious in hindsight. Oh, that was Aphex. But when someone does that anonymously, and then you see, you know, it's not just completely subjective, because you did it without the name Aphex Twin. I think, you know, partly because he'd be curious to see what do people make of my music if they don't know anything about the name. And so he does this fake profile, 30-second clips, and he sees that, yes, people will still find the music, like the music, you know, rate the music highly, no matter what the name is. Now, that is very interesting, because how many people, after working really hard to build an audience, are then going, fuck it, I'll just throw up some anonymous thing and see what happens. After, imagine how many hours went into the Tuss tracks. And Aphex was not thinking like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, milk everything out of my Aphex Twin name that I grew really big. It's such a different mindset. You know, he worked on the music first for himself, because that's what he does and he loves doing it. And after that, it's just like a game, experimenting, doing this and that. He is really good at business, definitely like a chess player. But, you know, how many of us have that kind of a approach to our music, where we just do it because we love it, and then everything after that, we could just have some fun with it on the releasing side, you know. Maybe I'll just brainstorm some new ideas here, right now. So, you know, what could we do? We could, the anonymous thing for me, it's not that attractive, because I'm practically anonymous anyway. You know, it's still so small. Although, having said that, I do have a couple of ideas for other names and other projects that I'd like to do, and just stick them up there and kind of be like, well, there you go. See if there's any reaction. But I've got to make those projects, make the music first, which I haven't done. So I probably won't get around to it, because it's only limited time, and that is where we get down to it. You know, I've always had this idea that, you know, one of the reasons the Beatles got so good is because of they had time to do it all day, every day. They got the time to just record and write in the studio all day long for years. So they were able to create the body of work that they created. It takes time and effort to create a body of work. And the people who are able to fence off that time for themselves, you know, whether it's Ski Mask or, you know, who are the people working at the really high levels in electronic music, whoever they are, they've been able to ring fence the time that it takes to put into that. And it's very hard to do that these days, where you can't, it's not a lot of money. And even if you're like a touring DJ, that takes so much time and energy. There's not a lot of time for sitting in the studio writing music. all techer are like definitely doing it and concentrating on creating their rig and playing live shows. And Square Pusher, obviously, and Apex, they just keep doing it. They're at really high levels. But who else is like smaller but still really amazing? Yeah, like at the if you're kind of a mid-tier artist, you have to make money to live. So how are you doing it? And ring fencing the time. Very, very difficult. I was talking to my friend recently, Connor, who lives in Berlin, and we were talking about our schedules, and he manages to fit in 5 hours a day of guitar practice. He's a very good jazz guitarist, excellent. But he's done it for a really long time as well, and I was kind of laughing because I was like, that is like the dream of many guitar players, to be able to fit in that many hours of practice as well as do everything else that you have to do, teaching and organizing your life so that you can afford your rent and everything else. So, and he manages to do all that, fit all that in, but he's not like really happy about doing 5 hours practice every day now, because he feels like it's a habit or something that he just keeps doing it now. But I'm like, wow, I'm happy enough if I get 40 minutes of guitar playing in, and maybe 40 minutes of making music or something like that. Sometimes more, sometimes less, and I'm not really that disciplined about it. But it comes down to discipline as well. How committed are you to doing it? I would like to make more music, but I'm kind of enjoying balance of things at the moment. I do enjoy playing badminton, skateboarding, being active. These things like are important too. There's like these important areas of life: creativity, health, income, relationships. And I really think balancing them is the key to it. Balancing them for a long-term, healthy balance of activities. It's quite possible that it's not that great to be Square Pusher. I don't know anything about Square Pusher's personal life, but if what it takes to do that is like 15-hour days in the studio, like incredibly devoted, committed life, we're lucky. Like, we should be grateful that he would do that sacrifice, because what kind of relationships can you have? What kind of hobbies can you maintain? So I'm not going to be like, screw everything else, I'm doing music 10 hours a day. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to keep making music every day, and it'll be a slow process that takes a really long time. But there you go. I'm going to do that. All right. So that's what I encourage other people to do too. If you are really wanting to do nothing else but make music your whole life and ring fence that time to like really devote into it, then good luck to you. Do it. But be aware of what the sacrifice might entail, I suppose. But maybe that's always been the way with people who become really great artists. Maybe they do lack balance in other areas, and that's what it takes. What do you think? I don't know. I'm genuinely interested in this. Okay, so that's about all I got. But I'm thinking I'll do some reaction videos, like react to some Ableton tutorials or something. I don't know. That might be funny. If you have any questions, throw them at me. Oh yes, I'll talk about my new courses it's coming up, 25th of March. It's called Finish the Track in 8 Weeks. And I'll bring participants through a process where they'll start from scratch and finish the track in 8 weeks. And why 8 weeks? Is it like, for some people that'd be like, oh, that's a really long time to finish the track. fair enough. If that's a really long time for you to finish a track, this course is not for you. This course is for people who struggle to finish a track that they're happy with. You know, if you're struggling to finish a track for, you know, months and months and months, then 8 weeks is a short time. If you've never finished a track before, there's lots of things that you need to learn and do. So 8 weeks is a good amount of time for that. It's supposed to be a track that you're happy with, but that takes time. You know, I have had tracks that took multiple years to finish. Yeah, I had to keep going back to them, improving them. So you know, I think 8 weeks is a good short amount of time to finish a track, actually. Although I have finished tracks in a shorter amount of time, that's rare, and mostly it does take a few months at least. So that is the course. There are 9 places left. You can get one. I'll put a link in the description. You can get on the waiting list. The places open up this Friday. So that's that. All right. See ya.